We stand at a critical point in history. That is the view of the UN's top humanitarian official in a briefing to the Security Council on countries experiencing famine or facing the risk of famine in Africa and the Middle East. Stephen O'Brien described Yemen and the largest humanitarian crisis in the world and the situation in South Sudan as the worst it's ever been, as over 20 million people face starvation and hunger. Distressing situations exist in both Somalia and the Lake Chad Basin, particularly northeastern Nigeria. Northern Kenya is also in the grips of a terrible drought, adding to the extreme needs that already exist in the region.
Dire was the description of the situation in all 5 regions, and without a major international response, the situations will deteriorate and people will inevitably die on a massive scale.
We stand at a critical point in our history. Already at the beginning of the year, we are facing the largest humanitarian crisis since the creation of the United Nations. Now, more than 20 million people across 4 countries face starvation and famine. Without collective and coordinated global efforts, people will simply starve to death. Many more will suffer and die from disease. Children stunted and out of school. Livelihoods, futures and hope will be lost.
18.8 million people need assistance in Yemen. That's 2/3 of the population. 10.7 million are at risk in the Lake Chad Basin, including 7 million who are food insecure. 7.5 million in South Sudan need aid, 6.2 million in Somalia, while drought in northern Kenya has made almost 3 million people food insecure. And in most cases, man-made conflicts are to blame or have exacerbated situations on the ground.
All 4 countries have one thing in common: conflict. This means that we, you, have the possibility to prevent and end further misery and suffering. The UN and its partners are ready to scale up, but we need the access and the funds to do more. It is all preventable. It is possible to avert this crisis, to avert these famines, to avert these looming human catastrophes.
Last month, the UN appealed for $5.6 billion for the 4 neediest countries, while an additional appeal of $200 million for Kenya is about to be launched. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.